And Jesus said, after Pilate asked him, "So you are a king?" And Jesus said, "It is for this I was born. For this I came into the world." We end this liturgical year celebrating the reign of Jesus Christ. The kingdom is not something that's going to happen in the future, but has already begun in every city, every home, every heart. It was in 1925 that Pope Pius XI established the Feast of Christ the King. On the wake of World War I, when new war clouds were beginning to loom over Europe, when secularism and atheism became rampant, when very dangerous, powerful leaders were entering the realm of history, Pope Pius XI wanted to remind Europe and the world, who is the real king? Who has the real power? What is this kingdom all about? Perhaps Jesus' most embarrassing situation in his life, and there were many, perhaps his most humiliating moment of his life was his appearance standing before Pilate. Pilate had no idea, none at all, what Jesus was talking about and regarding what is the truth, what is this kingdom. We got to remind ourselves, my sisters and brothers, that all of us who were baptized in the life and death and resurrection of Jesus Christ are called to build and to maintain the kingdom in our time, in our place, with our own personal, individual personalities and gifts. What an awesome responsibility. To be Christian isn't just a matter of being a people of faith, but a people of action. I came across a very moving article last month that helped me to understand and to appreciate more concretely what the words of Jesus meant. The kingdom of Christ is within each and every one of us. In Judaism, it's called Hakarat Hatov, means recognizing the good in the midst of sadness, tragedy, and not hesitating to say aloud, I am extraordinarily grateful for the wonders that God has done for me. It's a Jewish tradition. And last September, the world witnessed an extraordinary act of Hakarat Hatov, giving thanks to God, when Rachel Goldberg said goodbye to her son, Hirsch. Some of us know the story. It has been more than a year since 1,200 people were killed and 250 hostages were taken at a music festival just outside of Tel Aviv. Some of you have been there. Among those taken was an American Hirsch Goldberg, Poland. He and 5 others were found later on, shot to death this past August. Hirsch was 23 years old. At their son's funeral in Jerusalem on September 2nd, Rachel Goldberg spoke about her son. Her crisp white shirt was ripped open. It's a tradition, the Jewish faith, of rendering one's clothes, learning the death of a loved one in a tragic way. With quiet grace, quiet and impressive love, Rachel said goodbye to her son, Hirsch. This was not a moment, not for anger, not for revenge, and not for hate, but a moment for what has been lost, a moment for love and gratitude for what has been experienced. Rachel said, quote, I want to do Hakarat Hatov today. I want to thank God right now in front of all of you, people at the funeral, for giving me this magnificent gift of my Hirsch, my son. For 23 years, I was privileged to have the most stunning honor to be Hirsch's mama. I just wish it had been longer. I have had a lot of time to think about my sweet son over these past days, these past months. I keep thinking about how is it, of all the mothers in the entire world, God chose to give Hirsch to me. Why did I deserve such a beautiful gift? I give thanks to God. Okay, sweet boy, she addressed the dead body. Go now on your journey. I hope it's as good as the trips you dreamed about. Because finally, my sweet boy, finally, you are free. I love you, and I will miss you every day the rest of my life. End of quote. Despite their pain, despite their anguish, Rachel and her husband John are able to find reason to give thanks for the privilege of being mom and dad of their son Hirsch. This is an example of the kingdom of God. A humanity that is one in gratitude to our Maker for the gift of life breathed into every soul. A unity that is centered on such selfless, humble gratitude. To realize the grace in our lives in the midst of our struggles, our sorrows, and our horrific tragedies. A vision. That's what the kingdom of God is supposed to be. And if we, you and I, and we struggle doing this, if we continue to try to internalize the gospel of Jesus Christ, we will begin to appreciate what he and the evangelists say about this mysterious movement, the kingdom. The kingdom of God exists in every home where parents and children love each other. It exists in every town and country that cares for the weak and the vulnerable. It exists in every parish, every synagogue, every temple, every mosque, every Protestant church, when they all reach out to the needy. It happens when someone feeds a hungry person and shelters a homeless person. It's the kingdom whenever we overturn an unjust law. The kingdom happens whenever people join in the struggle to overcome poverty, prejudice, to erase ignorance, to treat women and men equally. These are the symptoms of the kingdom: love, justice, compassion, and peace. This gospel of Jesus Christ that you and I share every time we gather as community, every time you pick up that book and read, this gospel of Jesus is very fragile, very fragile. It's a very unique experience. It is the reality of the kingdom when God's vision becomes our vision. This is a vision that Pilate and the modern day Pilates do not understand. I do not know how our world will end, but I think that the King has something dramatically in store for us. It's going to be very dramatic. The King of the universe, once again, will appear not as a child. Jesus Christ, King, our leader, none other